Hi, my name is Mary Patton. I'm an interior designer based in Houston, Texas. I majored in studio art in college, and then after I graduated from college, I was an elementary school art teacher for a year. And I also taught fifth grade social studies. It was the most challenging year of my life. I was a horrible teacher, but so wonderful in so many ways. So after that, I went to Parsons and studied fashion. Worked in fashion for a while after that, and then moved back to Texas and kind of made the choice of that, there's not a thriving fashion community in Texas, and there certainly was not in the around 2010. So kind of out of necessity, I started saying that I was available to do design work for friends at a very low hourly rate, and just kind of thought I'll try and see what happens, and started making pillows for friends, helping them out kind of with their apartments or first homes. And then as the business has grown and evolved, so have my clients, and that's been fun to kind of grow together. So I've gotten really lucky and kind of fallen into a niche group of clients that are all women CEOs or attorneys that work in oil and gas in Texas. It's kind of a unique niche, but they're wonderful, and they refer me to their other friends, and really appreciate my time, and sort of appreciating that, like, they may not know something, but they can outsource it to someone that does. So I've been helping a lot of really smart women become stylish. I have an art and a fashion degree, not a business degree. And it's the running the business part of it is a challenge. Historically, definitely has been a challenge. I've been lucky now to have hired some really good learning from these ladies about outsourcing to people that can do things that you can't. So I feel really lucky that I've got a good team to help me now expand and grow. But I think it's just a problem for creatives in general, right? Like, how do you monetize a very vague talent, or not a vague talent, but turning a gift into a business is a challenge for sure. And I would say that maybe 10% of my time is spent doing creative stuff. The rest is the logistics of how to manage, all of these moving pieces, and, getting a sofa made, all of the moving parts that go into that, from the initial order of the fabric to the delivery person. There's so many things that can get messed up. And so a lot of it is managing logistics and triple checking things and not making a mistake. And yeah, so it's definitely a challenge. The house that I live in now, kind of my inspiration, or my main colorway for the house, was blush. And so I really ran with it. I typically like to do 5 colors in a home, and there are still 5 in that project, but this one, I would say the overwhelming color is like a creamy blush light pink, almost in a monochromatic way, but I think it's turned out really, really well. The first question I ask a new client is, what is their favorite color? Which is a little bit juvenile, but like, if you just really go down to kind of your, initial childlike reaction to things, that it makes a difference in the scope of the project. So like, my favorite color is pink, and so I really ran with it for my personal home. So I think, when also sourcing pieces that have meaning to the client, or at least if it's somebody that doesn't really care and wants me to just fill it with, cool stuff, finding things that are unique and special. You do not want the house to look like a model home. And so, I think adding vintage is so important, and also adding live plants. That's kind of the last thing I do with a project, is we'll come in with a truck full of plants. I think you should have at least one in every room with a window. And over time you become attached to your plants. I'll teach the client how to take care of them. And it's really funny too, how teaching clients about plants changes their view on them. They get to where they love them, start collecting more, and yeah, they definitely cause a shift, a positive shift in the energy of a space. I think that people are really leaning into just filling their homes with things that they like, almost kind of in a maximalist grandma clutter type of way, but a really edited version of that. And I think letting go of kind of these rules of it should be one way or another. I think just, a well-edited space full of things that make you happy is the key to a successful design. Now, do not mark up any furniture, fabric, anything. The client gets, for a variety of reasons. One is simplicity in accounting, but because of Google image search, people can find whatever you're showing them. And even I think if you're upfront with, oh, well, it's cost plus 30%, there's just something psychologically that people don't like. And if they feel like they're getting a value by using you, that's really helpful. So, designers get discounts pretty much anywhere. And so if you're able, for me, I found that if passing that along to the client makes them feel good and simplifies my life. So I charge an upfront flat fee retainer payment, and then I bill hourly on top of that. And then I bill also hourly for different price points for different members of my team. I also don't care what your budget is. So if someone has a $10,000 budget, but they're willing to pay for my retainer and my hourly, that's fine. We'll figure it out. That I think having, some kind of constraints also forces creativity, right? And I also think that there's beautiful options at every price point. People are hesitant because of the tariffs. I had several clients who were about to buy Italian furniture and then decided to cancel at the last minute, and we're having stuff made locally. Yeah, I think that people are hesitant to spend money right now for a variety of reasons. And so I think that is probably pretty universal to all businesses right now. I'm just taking it a day at a time, trying to, in the small impact I have with the people that I work for, trying to make them feel special and their space is beautiful. They put me in charge of field trips the year that I was a teacher, and I was 23 years old and had no business being in charge of anyone. And we had a trip to the Houston Zoo, and I lost 3 children at the zoo. But we found them and it was fine.